Welcome to the Princess Power Hour, where we show you how to go from pauper to powerful by transforming your health, your wealth, and your relationships. Here's the princess of podcasting herself, Natalie Thomas.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We have a special guest today, and her name is Sheevaun Moran, and we are going to be talking about creating health and wealth naturally. And you know I love natural things, okay? So this is going to be awesome. But real quick, I'm going to tell you about my mostly natural lipstick. And the color of the day is roseberry. And Sheevaun, check this out, because this is the coolest lipstick ever. Actually, our lipsticks are almost the same color. Now, I don't know if yours can do this, but check out mine. I can kiss and it's not going to come off, or I can smudge and it's not going to come off. And I love that. And it's lead free, it's wax free, it is GMO free, it is not tested on animals, and you can find it over at lipstickkissesandlove.com. We have about 50 colors over there. We have about a dozen glosses, and you put 3 very light coats on whenever you're ready to use it, and it will last 4 to 18 hours.
Oh my God.
I love that. I usually get about 9. I can get more, and every once in a while, if I eat something really greasy, I'll get less, but I'm a happy camper with it. So check that out after the show, everybody. But right now, we're going to tell you a little bit about Sheevaun. She's a business advisor, a master coach, a quantum energy thought leader, and the founder of Energetic Solutions. She has worked with over 25,000 entrepreneurs, CEOs, and leaders. Sheevaun has combined her corporate experience, rapid growth expertise, and unique approach using energetic techniques and principles to help innovate small businesses into big successes. She is an expert at impact, influence, and income wizardry, where a business is stagnant or starting up. Oh, Sheevaun, girl, we need that. I am so excited to hear what you have to share today. Thank you for joining us.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you. And I love lipstick.
Yay.
I've been on a kick for lipstick.
I'm crazy for this lipstick. And it is with a multi-level company. And I never thought, it's just not the kind of a thing I like. But
Yeah.
you love the product.
Yeah, totally.
And I signed up because I wanted to get a discount, not because I knew I wanted to buy a lot more colors. And when I realized how truly amazing it was, I put some stripes on my hand some of the time. It'll stay on my hand for like 2-3 days, and people will be, "What's that?" And it starts a great conversation. So, yep, it is fun. They have every color, including blue and black. Yeah, I demo them all. They've got a bright orange, and I don't necessarily love them all. I have many that I love, many that I love, but I demo them all for everybody. So
That's cool.
all right. Creating health and wealth naturally. Where do we start? Get us rolling on this.
Oh gosh, I think the best way to get started is like how I ended up here.
Oh, please, yes.
I came from a little town. My first business was at 11, jumped into computer programming when I was a kid, totally jammed on that. And then I saw everybody look like they were sick and dead, and I thought that was not my gig. And really wanted to understand how people behave. And I ended up in the entrepreneurial world and took some companies from startup idea to a couple $100 million and getting them sold. And I would come in at, 1 to, there would be like 4 or 5 other people, and then we would grow that. And so I love the entrepreneur stuff. It just really was my gig. And the word entrepreneur used to be kind of a bad word. And now it's kind of like everybody embraces it. But one of the pieces on that journey is I got sick. I got misdiagnosed. I nearly died from blood poisoning. And I torn my insides because I wasn't taking care of myself in a way that, 1, I understood. And 2, I'm a little bit of a driven person. So I like to see a result. And I didn't know that there was an expense to it. And part of that expense was getting misdiagnosed and nearly dying, ending up in the emergency room with being told that I was going to live for a few hours if I didn't take this injection. And kind of at the time, I was embarking on this concept of, I realized I didn't like drugs, even though I was helping to build a drug company. So
Really?
a little bit of a paradox.
Yeah, I guess so.
And so I decided to take that, of course, and I'm living. But what I decided was not stay in the hospital. And I figured if I could build a company, I could fix this. And if I could fix this, meaning the human, myself, then there's got to be something that I understand that maybe is important. So I got healthy, healed. I laid on my sofa for a couple months and I healed myself. And then I started thinking, well, okay, how does this apply to business? Because I love business. And how does this apply to helping my staff be better, do better, sell more, and really make that deep connection and not get burned out and not do what I did? And so I created some things, and we would use them in our sales meetings. And, I would actually use them and teach some of my clients who were CEOs of pharmaceutical companies. Interesting. How to use some of these tools. And they were more interested in that. And they're like, yeah, I'll sign the deal. Now let's do this other thing we're talking about. So it's kind of fun.
Wow. Okay.
And I got a little hooked on that. I love doing it. It was just really for me. And then I went on a trip to Nepal, and I used these tools on a woman in our group who had a massive stroke. And I worked on her for a long time, a lot of hours, but I realized when we saw her 6 days later walking and talking, I realized, I'm over here doing this thing with these medicines that are created, but this energy thing that I'm doing and that I did for myself helped that woman stay alive. Everybody on the planet needs it. So I really started the depth of the journey of making sure that I stayed healthy the rest of my life, and then sharing that with others and how to do that and grow their company or business, or maybe just prosperity in their own world.
So what were the steps that you took for yourself personally when you're at death's door to get out of the hospital, to not take this injection? Did you not take it, I assume?
No, I took the injection. I had to take the injection or else I wouldn't be living. Okay. So when you have blood poisoning, you have a very short span to be here.
Okay.
And I got the severity of it, but I remember laying there while they were preparing this concoction after they figured out what was wrong. And I remember laying there thinking, all right, I'm not just here to die. Okay, if I can build a company, I should be able to heal my body. I don't really even know what that means, but I heard something that sounds like a good idea. And I just started rattling all of these things off in my head, in my brain, and thinking, okay. And I was helping to grow a pharmaceutical company, right? So I knew that the statistics are that people die more likely when they stay in the hospital. And I was like, I am not staying here. I am 100% certain I am not staying here. You can give me that stuff.
Are huge.
You can inject me with stuff, but I am not staying here. And they insisted, and I was like, I'm signing out. I'm good. I'm done. I promise. I understand the severity, but I'm going home.
Wow.
And so that, it's like inner determination, but it was really, really knowing and trusting my intuition, trusting myself that I knew what was best for me, and staying and holding true to that. Because even before that, all through my life, I'd go to a doctor for, whatever, and they'd give me a prescription, and I would literally tear it up as soon as I walked out the door. And I put all of these pieces together kind of in that hospital, the intensive care emergency room. And so that was the first step, is really knowing to listen and stay true to me.
Okay.
And not succumbing to, the doctors. And that's a pretty tricky thing to do, because they're supposedly the experts.
Right.
And so that was the first part. And then the second part was I'd had a thing in my life before, and my husband had died sooner than he was supposed to. He died in a motorcycle accident. And I started recalling things that he had talked about through his grandmother, like weird stories while I was laying on my sofa. Like his grandmother would take him to the beach and they'd play in the ocean and he didn't have gangrene. And like all of these like little stories just started popping in my brain while I was laying there with nothing else to do. And I started to apply all of these principles about how you succeed and how you take a step and how you lead somebody to a result, and how it's got to be something that we actually have within us. We just don't know the technology. And so I just started putting it together from there. And then that woman on the mountain at Base Camp Everest, after I saw her in the lobby walking toward me, I was like, that's impossible. That's impossible. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing, and that's impossible. Wow. Like, I did this for me, and that's great. And I did this for little things, and that's great. But this woman is alive because of the little stuff that I knew to put together. That's amazing. Everybody needs to know this. And so I started creating formulas for it.
Wow. So we need to take a little shortcut here.
I know, it's like a whole big thing.
No. Okay, you were at Base Camp Mount Everest. Were you there to climb Mount Everest? Were you there with somebody that was climbing Mount Everest? Why were you at Base Camp Mount Everest?
I wanted a vacation. I really wanted a vacation. And I was having dinner with a friend, and I was like, listen, I need something exotic. I need to go do something just random. And they said, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so are going to Nepal. And I was like, I don't know where that is, but that sounds good. I'm doing it.
Well, I always drink water through my shows, and I am not kidding you. I almost spit my water out when you said I needed a vacation. Wow. Okay.
And they said they were going, where they were going, and they're going to do this trek. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And it's 6 weeks before. And so they've been training for a year, and I had 6 weeks. So I put a lot of effort into training for it. But
my goodness.
It was really like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm doing that. I didn't really know where we were going. I had no idea what I was in for.
My goodness.
I didn't know how hard it was going to be.
Base, it's quite an elevation, isn't it?
The whole thing, yeah. I mean, it's, altitude is definitely challenging.
I know I got altitude sickness many years ago just on a camping trip. We unpacked everything, and we were there about an hour and had to throw everything in the vehicle and leave very quickly because I became so ill, and it was nothing near the base of Everest. So
right, yeah. So no, that's as far as I was like, I'm good. I'm good. This is pretty cool. This is pretty amazing. Yay! It was cool to sleep under Base Camp Everest. I mean, sleep under Everest. It was really just amazing to wake up in the morning, like in dark 30, and be like, hear yaks and see Mount Everest. That's an amazing memory.
It would be. I mean, it's an amazing thing to get to talk about. I would say that probably more than 98% of the population of the world would never ever be able to say they've done that. So that's quite remarkable.
I never thought of it like that, but yeah, truly. Yeah, I think that's right.
I'm sure it's a greater percentage than 98%, but I was trying to be,
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Creating health and wealth naturally. Can you give our listeners some tips that they can start in that direction? What is your favorite go-to tool that you use to bring shift to yourself and to others?
Yeah. So one of the key things that we get wrapped up in as humans is once we have something happen in our life, we get super driven and focused, is we end up not really in our body. We end up ungrounded, losing things, missing our exit, sitting and reading something and realize, oh, we didn't really read it, having to go back. And all of these little pieces, like having an accident, falling down, we have this ungroundedness about us because we're trying to do too many things.
Bumping into a truck. I've got a bruise. I'm trying to show my bruise, but nobody can see the bruise. So yeah, I walk.
Yeah, like bumping into things. Like, so that's an ungroundedness. And so we have this body and we have this other thing that's outside of us, which is kind of our energy container. I call it. Other people call it woo words. But we have this other container, And when it's too filled up and we're actually disconnected from our body is going to need signals. And so it's going to need signals to get us to pay attention, to get back, to get into alignment and to get grounded. And in the yogic world, they say, oh, take and walk without your shoes. And that's nice. But truth of the matter is, we live in our life and there's just not really a lot of opportunity to walk without your shoes.
Okay, if I could, and I tried to show you my bruise. If I was really flexible, I'd lift my foot up and show you I'm barefoot. My husband constantly gets on to me for walking barefoot.
Yeah.
I try to explain to him that for me, that's a part of being grounded in life.
Yeah.
And even when I had my 5,300 square foot offices and warehouse, I would walk barefoot around those offices because I feel like I just want to remember who I am and that business isn't everything. We can get caught up even in, let's say, thinking we're better than somebody else or something like that if you're a high level of business. But by going barefoot, for me, yes, there's something about physically being grounded, but it's also like a humility for me. So
yeah, so I actually created tools to get people grounded no matter where they are, because not everybody is comfortable
this is
doing
true.
that. And I prefer, I've always preferred walking without shoes. It's just been something I loved since I was a child, but I didn't love it for the groundedness. It just really felt it was a good thing for me. So I created these tools. So one of these tools is you put your, and we have a thing that gives the video set of some things I'm going to share with you here now. So don't worry, you guys who are watching. You'll get a reminder video and you can watch again and again. So put your left 2 fingers under your nostril and put the palm of your right hand under the base of the nape of your neck and take a breath as you sit up straight. Got to sit up straight to the best of your ability. And you will kind of feel like you clunk in. Yeah. Okay. And then the other one, you have headphones on, so it's a little tricky, but the other one is left thumb to right earlobe, thumb on top and pinch. So that would be arm across. Oh. So you're there. Yeah. That's it. You got it. And then the right thumb to left earlobe and thumb on top and pinch and take a breath. Great. Notice how you get a little settled in.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So I created all of these hacks, like thousands of hacks to get people grounded and without having to do a whole lot of things. They're not like weird, or they're not weird symbols, or, all of those things. I came from corporate, so, that's not usually very acceptable. But this other journey that we have of intuitiveness and energy, it's more prominent today than ever. And we actually have to learn to have those conversations. We have to learn tools in order to deal with all of the Wi-Fi and how to get grounded. So I have tools like that. And as soon as you do that, it actually kind of settles your brain and it gets you back into your own zone and out of the worries about what's next and what could or couldn't be, into a solution as opposed to always into the problem.
Okay. Wow. I'm writing down about the Wi-Fi exposure because that's important. And a lot of people don't realize how that affects our bodies. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Sure. So when we go to nature, this is the easiest way to describe it. When we go to nature, we feel like everything goes, we kind of like melt into nature because nature just is. It's not trying to grow trees or grass or leaves or, stuff, flowers. It is just doing its job. And we as humans have not been taught to just do our job and be human. We've been taught to do the corporate thing and race and hurry and get ungrounded. And so when we add things that are artificial, that cross the path of nature, right? Like Wi-Fi, because it's crossing the path of nature, it will disrupt us And if we're not as resilient physically and energetically as we could be, as we have the opportunity to be, then it will disrupt us even more, and we'll actually get sick sooner. We'll be more tired. We'll be more spent by Friday. We won't know how to bounce back. And as we age, our bouncing back time gets shorter and shorter and shorter until some massive illness happens. And so that Wi-Fi, and as there's more of it, we actually have to learn how this energy thing is impacting us and what to do about it, even more importantly. What to do about it so you don't always have to, like, it's not practical to always be in nature and grow our companies and do all of those kind of things. And so I just created the bridge.
Wow. Well, we want to talk more about that bridge in a second. We're going to take a super quick commercial break, everybody, and we will be right back. All right. Well, we've been talking to Sheevaun Moran, and we've been talking about creating health and wealth naturally. And I want to hear about that bridge in just a second. I'm going to tell you a quick story because you mentioned your husband's grandmother taking him to the ocean. My husband had a very severe sprained ankle that his leg was swollen huge. This is a 104-pound man. So when I'm holding my hands out big, which those that are just listening can't see that, it was completely black and blue. He's a jockey. He couldn't ride horses, was desperate to get healing. And he would go to the ocean and he would go out and then just kind of get way down in the sand with his foot with the water. And there are negative ions in the water when we're around ocean water, when we're around waterfall water, when we're around river water running over rocks. And that's part of what helps us feel good when we're around that type of water. Were you aware of that, Sheevaun?
Oh yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to move to California. I'm an East Coast girl.
I didn't know that. See, I just moved to California, the East Coast. Now, that's right. You said you lived in one of the beaches.
I grew up in Pennsylvania.
Okay. How long have you been in California?
Most of my life, if from what I recall now. I've been here a long time. I've been here over 20 years. Yeah.
Oh, have you? Well, I tell you, I miss the ocean in California, but we have recently discovered swimming rivers and things here in Kentucky.
It's cool. It's beautiful. It's beautiful back there.
So it's different. You know, we're getting used to all the differences. I've been here a year. My husband's been here a little less than a year.
Wow.
And, you know, got beautiful green trees all around our property, which I dearly love. And the skies are blue, but definitely miss Laguna Beach. That was one of my favorite things in life. Sometimes I would just drive by there and go for a walk on my way to work.
Yeah.
And that was a very fun privilege that I appreciated very much. All right. So let's talk about this bridge. How do we become a part of your bridge and take advantage of these things that you've learned?
Yeah. So generally when people find me, they hear it's kind of like this really bizarre thing. They just kind of have a knowing. That there's something deeper, more important that is resonating with them. And so we created a toolkit for people to kind of open the door to this other part of themselves. And, you know, it's questions to really get your conscious and unconscious playing the same game and really giving you these videos, like the grounding video, and, you know, there are a couple others in there, to really take and live in your own world and make your own world that much more fluid, filled with ease, staying healthy, getting and achieving the goals you want without all of the stress and chaos. And so we call it our Epic Life Toolkit.
Ooh, okay.
It's a toolkit. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's got 7 sections and just enough to really get you started. And then we introduce you to a training. So it's really designed to get your heart and your head playing the same game, because generally our head is playing a different game than our heart, particularly if we're moms or we're looking for our next step or we're looking to grow into our next part of business. And our head is going to try to take control when it's really our heart is now more important than ever to really get back online.
Mm-hmm.
And so we created the toolkit for everybody to embark on. And one of those is the grounding. The other one is how to disconnect from people who are draining your energy, like negative Nellies, negative Neds and Nellies.
Yes, I know those people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so we teach you how to do that, and it's kind of like swiping your hand. And so we teach you these super powerful kind of, as one of my clients says, they're so weird, but they work kind of thing, tools.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So is it kind of like on the level of like tapping and some things like that?
No, it's even
Okay.
simpler than that. Yeah, you don't have to do
Okay.
all of that stuff. And it's just like, okay, so our energy system,
Mm-hmm.
our endocrine system, our mental structure is designed to get us a result. It's actually designed to get us a result.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have to bridge that to business. And
Mm-hmm.
once we get our energy in alignment and do the grounding, start with the grounding,
Mm-hmm.
and then you disconnect the people who are draining your energy, right? Because there are a lot
Mm-hmm.
if you're
Mm-hmm.
around a lot. So you kind of
I
swipe your
call them
hand.
energy vampires.
Yes, totally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those are two that are good steps. And then it's about looking at your business and seeing in your business where you're putting the most stress energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of fascinating. And where are you putting the most stress energy? Often it's sales, or not wanting to do sales, or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thinking you need branding first, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then how to use those tools around that piece. Because you can learn the tools, but then you have to learn where they apply in your life so they
Mm-hmm.
become tools for the rest of your life, like brushing your teeth.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, I love that. Tools for the rest of your life, like brushing your teeth. So it's
Yeah,
that
it takes
simple.
that. It has to be, because
Okay.
if you really look at what nature is doing, it's given us a template and a blueprint to do and succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But we've used our brains to push and succeed. And there's an okay way to do that, but that's usually going to require burnout and
Mm-hmm.
stress and
Mm-hmm.
yelling and anger and like, rah.
Effort. Lots of effort. Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of adrenals. Yes.
Yeah, burn those out. Yeah. So we add things that are going to get us back to our natural self. And so as we
Mm-hmm.
use these simple tools, really, and they take less than a minute, obviously. It's just like, okay, boom, boom, done, next. Cut, done, next.
Really, it's
Yeah,
that simple. There's no
I know.
meditation, no concentration, or is that another element of it?
Well, if you want that, we offer that.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up doing that because people kept saying they wanted to take my voice home with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I resisted for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
like many
Okay.
business owners. When there's a gem that's right in front of you, that's a
Mm-hmm.
hint for all of you starting. um, and then I recorded. One of my clients was a Motown artist, and she had retired, and she was like, "I've rented a studio. We're going to go record." I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Okay." So then I ended up recording a dozen audios that guide people through different exercises,
Okay.
but no more than 15 minutes. Because our attention span is super small.
Oh, it is. That is true. That is
Yeah.
very true.
So,
Wow.
if that's a bent that you want to go toward, great. But if all you
Mm-hmm.
want to use is these tools to grow and use that as your bridge,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, it can be that simple. Most of my people who come into my world are they've had some sort of level of success. They want to get there more effortlessly. The way they used to do business or think doesn't really fit the same way. And they want to stay healthy. And so there's one other piece I want to make sure all of your folks have access to. And
I
this
want you
isn't
to
in,
tell it, but I want you to keep in mind that my thing is alerting me that we have less than 4 minutes. So I need you to summarize that and tell us how to reach you in less than 4 minutes. And I need to talk to you after.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So this one isn't in the toolkit, and it's called minerals. And one of the things, and this is cool because you're in Kentucky, one of the things that we actually get most depleted from stress, men and women, from the time we're 25 are minerals. So go find minerals, not the weird kind that taste bad, because most of them taste disgusting. And there's a company called Vital Earth, and they have the best ones.
I use Vital Earth.
See?
Yes, and they have almost no taste, and they're fabulous.
That's right.
When I remember to take them, I feel amazing the next day.
That's
yes,
right.
I love Vital Earth.
So there you go.
Good job.
So you kind of get it.
Cool. I get it. You need to tell everybody that, I know you have something that they can
EpicLifeToolkit.com. Yeah, EpicLifeToolkit.com. Pretty simple.
EpicLifeToolkit.com. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody get over there. Check that out. And thank you for listening to us. I'm sorry we're having to cut short today. It's a Zoom issue. Thank you so much, Sheevaun. And everybody, if you like the show, if you found value, if you know somebody that needs this, please like, share, and comment. All of those things help us in the search engine ranking. And don't forget later, after you've checked out her site, to check out lipstickkissesandlove.com. So thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Princess Power Hour with Natalie Thomas. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit princesspower.com or on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter at @PPPrincessPower. Until next time, work smarter, not harder. Have a question for your host of Princess Power Hour, Natalie Thomas? Contact us at www.princesspower.com or tweet us at @PPPrincessPower.